most of you know, actor Hugh Jackman is currently preparing to play the X-Men character Wolverine one last time in the upcoming Wolverine 3. We've already heard from Patrick Stewart that Professor Xavier will appear in the movie, and now Jackman is giving us some more hints. In a recent interview, Jackman said the following: "There were a lot of calls for Victor Creed to come back. There was. I must admit I was quite heartened by a number of people saying, please don't make it the last. But I'm really excited about this last one, and if you're a comic book fan, then the words berserker rage came up a lot. So if you know Wolverine, you'll understand." Schnepp, what did you take away from Jackman's comments?
I'd just take away that, after playing the role for like 17 years, of course he's got deep feelings for this character. It's a character that he helped, put his stamp on, and none of us want him to retire. We're like, dude, you could do it till you're 60. You could put another 10, 15 years in.
He totally could.
He really could. And then he'd really be old man Logan. But look, you know what? I mean, you never say never again. This is Wolverine 3. He could take off for 10 years and then come back and really do old man Logan, and none of us would be mad at that. So, I mean, him just talking about some of the things that, like, he, as a fan of the character that he's been playing, Wolverine, is like when he says a berserker rage, and you guys and gals who read the comics, you know what he's talking about. He's talking about, when Wolverine like loses his mind, goes super crazy. So, that talking about, obviously Professor X is going to be in it, which is great. I don't know what the story is, but now it's at least a little more exciting to have more people from the X-Men world in there. And then getting Sabretooth. I mean, we were talking about the different Sabretooths that have been in the cinematic world so far. And then just last night on Twitter, Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber were kind of having a little back and forth that seemed
awesome.
to be like they were like subtly inferring some kind of, maybe we got to get into our brand new workout, regimen, and it's like Liev's like, I don't know about that. So you guys can look that up on Twitter.
I can just see Taylor Maine right now sitting at home saying, "Hey, you said that maybe we'll get Sabretooth back," and then saw the tweets from him to Liev Schreiber. Look, Hugh Jackman has been able to pull off something that a lot of great actors can't. Great actors in iconic roles. I mean, look, we think of Mark Hamill, we think Luke Skywalker, we think Mark Hamill, right? Mm-hmm. We think of Iron Man, we think of Robert Downey Jr., but when you think of Robert Downey Jr., you also think of Iron Man. Hugh Jackman, though, you think of Wolverine, you instantly think of Hugh Jackman, but if you say Hugh Jackman, you don't have to instantly think Wolverine. He has been able to play this character for 15, 16, 17 years, and however many films it's been, made everybody love the character, and yet he's done so much other great stuff that you don't only think Wolverine when you think Hugh Jackman. He's getting Academy Award nominations for singing in Les Mis,
incredible.
All these other fantastic films that he does. He's just incredible. Now, I read, this is going back about 2 years ago, I guess. He said, honestly, the hardest thing about playing Wolverine is the workout schedule. It's every day, hours every day of just pumping weights. And he said, while my wife appreciates the results, I'd like to do a little bit of gardening with my kid, And I think that's probably the thing he is most looking forward to. Hey, he's going to stay in shape. He's going to still be a big guy, but to have to work out 5 hours a day or do whatever it is that he does to look the way he does at that, it's sick. The dude looks better and better every single time he appears as Wolverine. He was a big guy in those first X-Men films. Right. But then you look at in the last one, he's just huge and shredded. It's just unbelievable. And look, we've been having some discussions around the office here about, I really liked Liev Schreiber as Victor Creed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't really think of him as Sabretooth, but I think of him as Victor Creed. And I really like his incarnation of it, although I really don't like how he was used in that last one, nor how they used Deadpool, nor how they did just about anything in that Wolverine film.
Technically, that movie sucked.
Yeah, technically, that movie sucked. Yeah. But I would be very happy to see him come back, especially with this director that did the last Wolverine film. I think he's got some potential, so I'm excited about what he said.
It's funny when you talk about all that stuff with Hugh Jackman and how he's one of those few actors, very rare, like the examples you were given, that you see, like when he pops up on screen, you don't say it's Wolverine. Perfect example of that is with this Pan movie coming out. That's Blackbeard.
Yes.
Not once did I say, oh, that's Wolverine. Right. Forgot about it. But I certainly don't forget about him as Wolverine when he's Wolverine.
Right.
And he's kind of presented a new standard to the fact that you can play this character for a very long time and have respect to it and not get tired of it. Like there was comments that we talked about on Movie Talk. May have even been a year ago. I don't remember, but it was about comments that Henry Cavill had made, and he had said the same thing, that he wants to play this character, Superman, for as long as the fans want him to do. And he's also one of those guys that's trying to do more stuff, like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and other things too. So they remind me of one another as far as like the young kind of path. It seems like Henry Cavill is following Hugh Jackman's road, and that's what a great road to follow. And as far as his comments go, I mean, I would like to see him play Wolverine forever. I hope that we get to the technology one day to where you're going to be able to see a young Hugh Jackman play Wolverine again, and maybe they can actually have Bruce Willis play a young John McClane, so where he doesn't have to phone it in. But and the other thing, as far as having Victor Creed back, I guess I'm on the opposite of you guys. I love Liev Schreiber as an actor, and I don't know, maybe it's just because that movie was so bad that it's kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, almost the same way that Taylor Kitsch,
totally.
Taylor Kitsch, who I thought was a decent Gambit, still it's like they're getting rid of him. I'd either start over, because Sabretooth and Wolverine's battles to me were my favorite part of the X-Men comics. And from what I remember, I'm not as into the comics as you guys were, but what I remember is that just those brawls and those fights. And I don't remember, were they brothers in the comics?
I don't believe they were.
Because I hated that storyline. It just went.
I agree.
It went against what X-Men was all about. So I hope if they bring him back, I want to see him come back, because I think the character needs justice again. But yeah, him coming back and last one, and eventually when they do replace him, it's going to be tough. But I think we'll get it.